Welcome to Paradigm Shifts, new thinking about our changing times with your host, Harriette M. Steinberg, practicing matrimonial and family law, real estate, trust and estates, and elder law. You can watch episodes on YouTube and listen through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. For prior episodes, go to www.lawyersonli.com. Now here's the host of Paradigm Shifts, Harriette Steinberg.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Paradigm Shifts. I'm Harriette Steinberg, also known as the Divorce Sherpa. I'm an attorney. I practice in the areas of matrimonial law, elder law, trusts and estates, and estate planning. When working with clients, my process of choice is mediation or collaborative divorce. So let me tell you about our show. In each episode of Paradigm Shifts, you will hear from a professional about some new changes or some changes in our lifestyles. We'll be discussing a wide variety of topics such as business, matrimonials, aging, networking, retirement, and so forth. And so with that, I really am excited to introduce if I'm the divorce Sherpa, she's the networking guru, Adrian Miller. Good morning, Adrian.
Thank you so much. Yeah, when you were going through the things you speak about on your podcast, I was going, matrimonial, no. I was like, what is she doing? Aging? Not me.
Right.
So I was waiting to see where I would fit in.
Well, I know exactly where you fit. So can you tell us why you do what you do?
Oh my gosh. So, I do a lot of things.
I know that.
Yeah. So, and once,
a little bit about.
So, in a nutshell, for anyone who is listening or everyone who's listening, I do sales consulting and training. That's tremendously changed over the years. I'm a writer. The writing so much hasn't changed, but the way I get it out to the public has changed for sure. And networking, which is where I think you're going.
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of it has changed, but it still goes back to the whole idea of people being connectors to other people and helping their fellow networkers make those contacts and connections and introductions that can help them advance their business and career. Why do I do it? I started networking when I started my first business, and it seemed a kinder, more gentle way to develop clients. I'm a sales trainer, so prospecting for business and getting new clients in a more direct sales way, I know how to do that. I train people to do that. But networking for me was always tremendous fun. I'm an extroverted person. I like meeting new people and I like having conversations. And what I also like is I really do like helping people. I really, really do. So I'm a very proactive networker. Why I do it is because I like helping people. There's a little bit of an ego rush when I make a connection that works, and I'm incredibly results driven. So when it really works, meaning they got to work together or there was an introduction made to somebody else that was, culminated in work, then that's my glass of champagne for the day. I really, really enjoy that.
Well, as you know, I'm part of the Adrian Miller networking group. And what I've found is that it's even more than just networking. You've helped us, or you help everyone develop some real good connections.
Yeah.
And I guess that has been the secret, your secret sauce at times. Yeah.
Well, I think of our networking group, and I use the word community a lot. I
Hmm.
really think of us as a community, and we have so many ways for people to interact. Some people are not great at sitting around a conference table. They're even worse sitting around on a Zoom call, which we were all forced to do the last few years. So I don't think networking only has to happen in those situations. I think networking can happen at that beach party. I think it can happen at a theater outing. I think it can happen at a book club and at a mastermind and all these other things where people reveal their thought process about things, when they reveal their interests and their orientation towards doing something. It's people connecting with people. You don't have to connect at a conference table. Some of my best networking has happened walking around a museum with a networking contact.
A salt cave.
Yeah, the soul
Right.
cave, exactly.
Right.
So I think the more traditional networking, which I did forever, was fine and great. But I knew when I started my community, it would have to be more robust because I get bored, and I like to do those things and to get to do it with other people who many of whom have become really good friends. It's all the better. It's really all the better. And isn't networking based on trust and respect anyway?
Absolutely. And frankly, I have to say, from my perspective, being able to connect with people and getting to know them
Right.
really, really gives me comfort in then making a referral. You know, I care about my clients. I want to give them the best, and by having the connections that you develop, it when I make a referral to an Adrian networking colleague, know it's going to be a good one. And I think, that is some of the magic um, that you give us,
Well, it's good. I love to hear the good words, I must
Yeah.
say. But yeah, it's a trust and respect, particularly when you're making an introduction to a client.
Yes.
I mean, that's very, very, very important. It's important for everyone, but the client relationship is sort of sacrosanct there. And, I've had wonderful experiences working with people in the group directly. I've also had wonderful experiences working with people they referred to me. I am keen to tell people if I have less than a wonderful relationship, I'm keen to tell them about my situation just so they would know. It's never been such a disaster that it's like I'm going to run for the hills, but someone held themselves out to be an expert at something that perhaps they were not quite as expert in as they were presenting themselves. And that could be my perspective also. I think networking as any relationship, super personal and subjective. I can introduce you to someone and I could really love that person. I like their personality, everything's great. I introduce them to you or to anyone. It's kind of oil and water.
Right.
There's just not the connection. You don't bond with everyone. And so I will often I'll make if someone wants a specific type of person, I'll introduce them to two or three people because it's up to them to feel the same connection I do. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I get that. Some people really enjoy and love to work with me for sales stuff, and other people, well, there's other people they might bond with more. Very, very personal, very subjective. My feeling is there's enough contacts, there's enough business, there's enough of it out there for everyone, you know. We don't have to be nervous. We're in a very we together are in a very robust area population wise. We're not living in a tiny town in the middle of nowhere and all we can do is business with a small group of people. Then it's a little more nerve-wracking. But here in New York, if there's not, and forget about it, we're all able, I know not necessarily for attorneys, but I'm able to do business anywhere in the world. And the world has really opened up through COVID.
So let me ask you this question. We're talking about paradigm shifts. Can you give us 3 tips for doing business today, now?
Well, the tips right now are going to be somewhat similar to before, but even more so. My first thing is, particularly now, because many of us can do business worldwide, and so the world, we're online. We're Zooming with someone overseas. We're Zooming with someone across the country. You have to literally own what makes you different. You have to be able to communicate that to people. What makes you different in the marketplace? And I didn't say better. Better makes me, if you tell me you're better, I get immediately defensive and argumentative too. But what makes you different? Different, such a compelling word. Even if I'm already working with someone else, if you say, my clients tell me that I'm different because, I'm going to lean in and want to hear more about that. So that's the first thing you have to own. And it's even more so, the paradigm shift is we are much more of a global selling world than we are when I started in business decades ago. Okay. Number 2, even more than ever before, we are really busy juggling. Okay. And assuming you want to have a life work balance, you actually do want to invest in yourself. You want to have hobbies, family, interactions with people outside of your business network. What has become very, very easy is being to access resources for things that you need done for you that you don't necessarily have to execute yourself. Okay. You have to become a better delegator. Not everybody should do everything. And we're very comfortable not doing our own taxes. Okay, because we hold an accountant's going to do it better. And we certainly are not going to what is it called? Pro se or something? Doing your own legal defense or something like that.
You're not going to act pro se.
Right. Pro se, right. But it's amazing how people, and I'll take writing. I'm kind of going to pick on that one. People write because they've heard that content's really important. You have to be visible, and your website has to have blogs, and you have to be online with content on LinkedIn, etc. But they don't like to write. That's not their skill set. I get it. Okay. It's not only not their skill set, it's painful, and it takes time away from the stuff that's really mission critical. And a blog that might take someone, or a social media post that might take someone 5 minutes, it takes you hours to do. So the fact is, you need to access resources for you. And there's so many wonderful, credible resources for you that why suffer on your own and try to do it. And it's I know people say, well, it costs money. Well, it costs money if you're going to spend 3 hours doing something you're not very good at anyway. So one is own what makes you different. 2 is certainly understanding that resources, highly credible, expert, fabulous resources are at your disposal. Just use them. Just use them. Do not hold on to everything. You absolutely can't hold on to everything. And networking. The shift has been to, there's tons of networking communities and groups and different types of groups that you should experiment with. You can go as a guest to almost anything and experiment, because networking can be the tool that, if you leverage it as well as you should. It can help you tremendously in scaling your business. Networking in the old days used to happen, conference room table. There was
Right.
only in a conference room table, and now and it was very much general networking, and now there's groups that specialize very tightly in a particular niche. You can be on Zoom, you can be on some of the other platforms as well, and social media has leveled the playing field and opened our doors to many more people in a really cost effective way. You just have to play the game appropriately.
So, what about personal branding? I've heard that term too.
Yeah, so that's interesting. And I do a lot of personal branding work. I particularly do the personal branding work for people who work for a very large, maybe take the word very out, for a large organization or a law firm. It doesn't have to even be that large. Under the umbrella of a insurance company,
Mm-hmm.
et cetera, et cetera. And they're on that site, they're on that website, and they have a space, but that space is very controlled by the organization. And that space also does not allow them to really show the real them, the other side of them, maybe where they do philanthropic work, maybe some of their volunteering, family concerns. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
showing their life more three-dimensionally. People do business with people, and they've found that has been tremendously helpful. So we have given them, we've developed a URL. They have a hashtag. There's the site is filled with photographs and video. The about us is very much in their own words, maybe a little bit restructured by me. There's information about their volunteer efforts, their team. Often they have a team that works directly for them. Their team members are there, a little bit of bio about their team. And they've loved it. They've really, really loved having that site put on social media. It gives them a lot of visibility. It gives them some help in the search engines. It has made them more visible for speaking opportunities, for podcasting opportunities.
So, you know what I'm hearing, and really, I'm surprised, but it makes a lot of sense. What I'm hearing is you're telling us that even as professionals or business people, we've got to show that personal side, because I think that is a connecting element, is, and
Yes, very much.
know,
Very.
I have to tell you, years ago when I started practicing way, way back, that was almost verbatim. I could not show
Right,
my colleagues that I happened to have two little babies
right,
that I was caring for, while
right.
I was doing. And we've sort of changed the whole shift.
We absolutely have. I relate to that. When I started my business, I too had tiny children. I had a home office, and I didn't. Now, have everyone has a home office, and everyone
Right.
talks about having their home office, and it's like, and even before COVID, home offices were much more acceptable. But I realized back then, when I was very young and had two small kids, home office would make people think I had a hobby, not a business.
Exactly.
And so I never really, really talked about that at all. So that's all changed on LinkedIn. If you notice on LinkedIn, the posts that have somewhat of a personal component do much better than the ones that are flat out about business. Now, you can shift the content. I did it today on my own post. I shifted the content about, we all give people encouragement, like, you can do it.
Right.
do it. And then I happened to take a picture of my granddaughter going down a slide. And of course, we're standing at the bottom going, you can do it. And she said, how do I do it? Because she didn't want to go too fast.
Oh, yeah.
And I told her she could hold on and put her feet against it. But I realized so many people who are trainers are all about all the enthusiasm, jumping up and down. You can do it. And some of us, like there are certain things I don't know how to do. I'll reveal this. I don't know how to ride a bike.
Right.
I'm determined to learn how to ride a bike. I don't know how to ride a bike because I grew up in Manhattan. In Manhattan, parents were not happy about their children riding in the street.
Right.
I never learned to ride a bike. I want to learn to ride a bike now. I don't know why, but whatever. If you say to me, you can do it, I'm going to go, I don't, how? I mean, I know how to pedal. I've been on stationary bikes. I've ridden a Peloton, but I mean, this actually goes forward. So, and I don't want to fall. I know I'll wear pads and a helmet because I don't want to get hurt. But the fact is the how. We have to tell people, we can't shortchange them. So that's what I mean. It was a personal post, and I showed my granddaughter, who always gets me a lot of views. But I translated it to business. There was a post last week that was very heart-wrenching to me. It was a picture of a small child in a hospital bed, and a bed like a chair that opened up to a bed next to it had a laptop on it. And the person posted and they said, people ask me where I work, and this is where I work. And had a very, very ill child and was in the hospital 24/7 and does his work there. And his post was about, someone said, I shouldn't have posted this. This is too personal. And all the responses were, no, it's not. It's fine. I don't know who said that to you. So, yeah, I mean, I think some people cross a little. No, they don't. It's very raw. Social media has gotten very raw now. And I mean LinkedIn. I don't mean Facebook, Twitter. Yeah. Thing like that. LinkedIn has gotten the word is authentic.
Oh, another paradigm shift, right?
The word's authentic. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Because for a long time, nobody ever posted anything like that. It's all about my business. When I post something about my business, the number of reactions I get goes way down.
So wait, but tell us, how can we contact you? Our audience wants to reach out to you.
Yeah.
Best way to do it.
amiller@adrianmiller.com is a great way. It's email. I actually answer, even though I get hundreds of them a day. And Adrian is Adrian. I know that's, there's a lot of ways, like Harriette. A lot of people can spell it a lot of ways. Adrian seems to go about the same way. And I'm on LinkedIn. Adrian Miller is on LinkedIn, and it's Adrian Miller's and Facebook. Yeah. And I do still, I have gotten business on Facebook. I really have. Mostly because I link to content that I've written, and people read the content and then go, I'd like to talk to her. So, yeah, it's all good.
I've enjoyed our visit today, but before we go, can I ask you for a referral? Can you give us someone who you think would be a great guest to have on Paradigm Shifts?
Oh, I absolutely 100%. And I have all the reasons why, would be Christina Shaw. And the reason is Christina is a young woman with a single mom with two young kids. Became a single mom many years ago. Her young kids are, I think, 6 and 8, and they were 1 and 3.
Wow.
She's an incredibly successful businesswoman. She does have a personal branding site. She has taken networking to a new level in her business. And she is, she's really flipped over a lot of the older preconceptions about business women, et cetera, et cetera. And she's taken it even 3 steps further. She's incredibly giving and charismatic, so she'd be a great guest.
Well, I thank you. And thank you so much for the visit today.
Thank you so much for being here. I liked it a lot. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Paradigm Shifts, new thinking about our changing times with your host, Harriette M. Steinberg, practicing matrimonial and family law, real estate, trust and estates, and elder law. You can watch episodes on YouTube and listen to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. For prior episodes, go to www.lawyersonli.com.